Hi there, I'm Soraya Mentor, and this is Africa Beyond Borders. Today, we get to share amazing adventures of an amazing African who traveled beyond their home country. Today's guest is Cheslyn Meyer, and he's here to share how dance has taken him around the world. Hi, Ches.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Oh, it's good. It's been a minute.
I'm so excited to talk to you. Yes, it has been a minute. Ches and I go a very long way back. We have danced together over the past 4 years in South Africa, where he is currently. How's it there in SA?
It's cold, man. But it's good.
To get into it, I just want you to just share with the audience how your dance journey started out and when was the first time you traveled beyond your home.
Yo, you want to take me back now. So basically, I've been a professional street dancer for more than 20 years. Break dance is my base, and I am from Port Elizabeth, South Africa. I started competing nationally first, right? So in our local area in Port Elizabeth, we had street competitions. From there, I had the first opportunity to compete like in a national competition that was like 4 years after I started. So that was my first national competition, and that was in Cape Town. That was out of PE, so from one region to the next region. Um, was quite a big experience for me, because I was one of the younger dancers in a group of seniors. And then from there onwards, a lot of group competitions, and then we went over to a big competition in Cape Town again. And then that was our first qualifier, and that was a couple of years later, like in 2009, where we qualified to go to Korea. But we didn't go because there were some complications with visas and stuff and so onwards. But in that same year, I had the opportunity to go to Reunion Island, and then that was my first big competition outside of South Africa as a dancer coming from Port Elizabeth, or from the ghetto where I'm from.
You know, that is so insane to hear how dance has taken you so far around the world. I'm just actually curious, how is the culture of dance different in Cape Town and Reunion Island, as you said?
Ooh, so Reunion Island is basically a French colonized island, right? So they have their currency that they run on is euros, and the language that's mostly spoken on the island is French, or French Creole. And then you have people that obviously speak English, and there are some South Africans that as well, but you don't really get to see them because the island is French based. But on a cultural perspective for them, because they have a lot of connection with people from France, and they travel more than we do. They get a lot of internationals in on their side, so to help them groom their dancers, and they have big festivals and stuff on the island because the island is secluded. It's a small island, but they have a lot of stuff for the arts on the island, and a lot of stuff to do, and that's great. But as South Africa, and we have a rich culture when it comes to street, and it's just that because we're so spread out, Cape Town is one of the major cities when it comes to hip hop or dance in general, and then Johannesburg is also wide. That's more the business side when it comes to performing and doing big corporate gigs and stuff. But PE, we're a small city, a lot of talent, but not a lot of opportunity. That's why a lot of the dancers try and travel, or even videographers or musicians, because there's more opportunities outside, and we're trying to develop and push more to create more platforms our side, and to get more people to come in and invest into what we do on our side.
You know, now that you're talking about just how different they cater for arts in the Reunion Island. What did you say one of the things that you learned that they do around dance culture that is kind of lacking where you are right now?
I wouldn't say lacking. I just think that they do incorporate a lot of the look. For us it's different because we have more cultures where we're from. So we have our different tribes. We have the Xhosas, we have the Zulus, we have Coloureds, we have Islam on our side. As to where on their side they focus to, they grow up on the island. It's island life. They have their cultures, the respective cultures that's there for them. But what they do is they have a lot of live instrument bands and stuff that they have. There's a lot of development also when it comes to dance. They don't just do that. Like for us, we also have different facets of dance when it comes to that. We have different cultures and different forms, like I explained to you once when we had this conversation. When it gets to the traditional African styles, you have your pansula, you have your Zulu traditional dances, your Xhosa traditional dances, then you have all the other street styles, right? That fall under the Afro styles. And then for them also, they have their own island traditional dances. They learn all the other cultures, and I think that what makes them, I wouldn't say different, but stands out is that they are very grounded and rooted in their culture and the way they raised in their respective forms of art.
As someone who comes from Port Elizabeth, now that you're saying island vibes, how did you adapt to a completely new language, a completely new food style? How was that process?
Translator.
That's good.
So the first time that we had the opportunity to go, we had a translator with us. She was there to translate for us and help us order food and stuff. But you get accustomed to it because you spend a certain amount of days on the island. I recently, like last year, we had the opportunity to go back to the island again. So that was for me like after so many years, I got to go back to the island and compete on the island again in one of the competitions, and we ended up winning as Team South Africa um, on the island in the competition. So the second time there was great because now we had people that we knew from the past, and it was nice connecting with them again, and also seeing new faces, seeing how much their culture has grown and how much has developed on the island. And a lot of their dancers that's from there now is currently traveling all over the world, and they're going to big events and stuff. But that's also because there's support from their government and there is support from outside, and they're really making effort to get out there.
That is just amazing to hear that you even went back a second time and you won for your country. Congratulations on that. I wanted to know, did you go again with your translator?
No, we didn't have a translator. We were cool. We were cool. Because now,
Fluent French.
obviously, yeah, nah, I wouldn't say fluent. We still have to do the Portuguese thing.
That is amazing to hear, Ches. I do know that you've also been to Vegas. You've also been to Dubai. I just want you to compare how you adapted to these different countries and what did you learn from yourself?
Okay, so Vegas was the easy one. Vegas was 2011, and that was for the World Hip Hop Championships. That was because of obviously it's English. There's no big barrier when it comes to communication because in the States, English is the primary language, and in most places in the world. The experience there was great. We got to meet so many other countries. A lot of the people that you see in movies now, like you see trending all over the world. We had the opportunity to do workshops with a lot of the heads in certain dance styles. Um, I'd say someone that people would recognize now is Alice Goebel. She's like the choreographer for Rihanna and choreographer for all those lead female artists or artists in general in the States. We got to do workshops with her. She's also in one of those step up movies. She's the lead. So it's a New Zealand dancer, but she's a choreographer based in the States now. We got to meet the creator of Crump, Tight Eyes. A lot of guys who follow Crump and do that would know who that is. That's an overall dance experience. It was great. Last year, same thing. Got to go to Saudi Arabia to Riyadh. That's the capital city in Saudi. Me and a couple other breakdancers from Cape Town. We had the opportunity to perform at the Soundstorm Music Festival, and that was huge because they had a whole lineup of international performers. It's like Busta Rhymes, Eminem, who else was there? Thames was there, Jason Derulo was there. So we had the opportunity of seeing all of those artists perform at the different stages and stuff. So that was great. Also, easier to communicate because a lot of them understood English, and that was just a big party. And we were there as part of the entertainment, getting to share our craft as South Africans, but also as breakdancers coming from South Africa.
I just aspire rather to be you and just travel the world and dance. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Africa Beyond Borders. I'm your host, Soraya Mentor, where we get to chat to amazing Africans who've traveled beyond their home countries. It's all about how we carry our culture everywhere we go. Today's guest is Cheslyn Meyer, and we were just diving into his adventures as a dancer around the world. Ches, I just want to get into it. As a traveler who's traveled so many countries, what's one thing that you really learned about yourself throughout the process?
I'd say when it comes to me personally, when I travel, I always want to have all my stuff in order, because I'm such a calculated person, and you know how it goes when it comes to your checklists and making sure you have the right sneakers and you have the right gear and you have your right documentations to go to stuff. So for me, it's always making sure that I'm on time, having all my stuff ready, and I'd say knowing the place you are going to or doing as much research as possible. You don't want to be or offend anyone's culture, or you want to make sure that you stay true to their rules and their regulations, but also stay true to who you are as a person and not allow yourself to get into trouble anywhere else. Or I'd say just not cross any borders that you're not supposed to.
You know, just getting into, you touched on a beautiful point how research is so important to where you're traveling to. What's a practical example that you did, like maybe going when you went to Las Vegas, rather, that you would advise someone else to do as a traveler?
Make sure that all your documentation is right. Because in the States, they're very strict on, I'd say, your documentation. If you manage to get all the way to Los Angeles, basically, at the airport, customs will make sure that they check everything thoroughly. Make sure your documentation is right. You don't have anything in your luggage that will put you behind bars, basically. I'd say that.
Just beautiful.
You have people that take chances.
Customs is number one. Have your papers in order. I'll take that note.
Yes.
I just want to know, as someone who
You
grew up
should know.
in yes. But getting back into it, as someone who grew up in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, how did you bring your culture or share your culture rather with the people that you met globally?
All right, so I'd say for someone who speaks Afrikaans, you know. When you get to another country, say they speak French or they speak Portuguese or Spanish or something, the first initial thing we know it's like a prank for all of us. The first thing you want to learn is you want to teach them a swear word. Second thing, you would most definitely give them a nickname. That standard procedure. Then I'm sure they do the same because obviously you don't understand their language. One, they'll make you say something stupid. Two, they'll have a nickname or they will give you a name that reminds them of someone that they know. Literally, everywhere you go, any culture, same thing. They do the same thing.
It's the global standard, how you introduce someone
Yes.
to your culture. It's just lovely to hear. I'm actually
Definitely,
very interested
definitely.
to hear about your food journey. What was it like adapting to different food palettes around the world?
Ooh, yeah, that's a fun one. So, I'd say the most interesting one for me was the first time we went to Reunion Island, because obviously it's very similar to South Africa when it comes to food. It's the spicy food. Um, if you've been to a color dome, it's it's a lot like a Mexican dish. There's a lot of flavor in the food. There's a lot of vegetables. You'll find that. It's just trying something different because I remember my friends that were with me on the trip. They took us to the market, and then there was a section at the market on the island where they made rum, and the guys were trying it. That was fruit that they used from the island, but they made a rum out of it, and the guys got drunk.
That sounds really, really
Obviously, I
fun.
don't. Yeah, obviously I don't drink and I don't smoke, you know that. So I would just stood there laughing at them because we could get the faces pulling and stuff. Because yeah, it's just a fun experience. Also trying their foods, how it's prepared by them. First time around, there was a lot of pork and a lot of chicken. Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, it sounds like a very fun island to visit.
It is. I'd say it's definitely one to visit. It's very beautiful. There's a live volcano actually on the island. Um, so it's very nice scenery and everything. It's a you can literally go around the island completely in 2 hours. Yeah.
Wow, that is wow. That is something to adapt to. I just wanted to ask you, because you did mention how island dances are different. Now that you're back in South Africa, how did your dance style change over the time as you traveled?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, like when even when we spoke about how I came to dancing and how I started learning all the other styles of dance, for me, it's just seeing how the level of those dances are. And I know that is just to exposure to other dancers on a higher level. And the more you get to travel, the more you get to see. I think it's also a thing of becoming more comfortable with who you are as a dancer and how you prepare for things. Like I know when I prep for competition, you tend to create a lot of new material, but then the other aspect that stresses you about that is how it will look to someone else or how people will receive what you are creating because you're creating from your mind and what you feel is right. But your opinion of right isn't always what the next person thinks it's right. So it's the creative process and having to trust that your creation will stand out or it will be received to people the way that you see it, whether it's choreography, whether it's moves, whether it's um, just a showcase where you know how it goes. And I think it's just being able to see how much they push and that inspires you to push more. And the same for you, how much you push will inspire them to work even harder. Because obviously, if you coming from your country or your place, stepping into a new platform, they obviously gonna be like, nah, we're not gonna allow anyone to beat us on our ground. You know how it goes with competition. And when it comes to showcases or performances, it would be being eager to see what the others do and being more willing to show what you have. So it's an exchange basically. That's how I see it. And I've come to learn that the more I grow myself and the more knowledge I gain from learning from others, that takes my dancing to the next level. And I've always been open to learning more. So whether it is a different dance style or it's something outside my comfort zone, I believe in always being teachable because you can't teach others if you're not allowing yourself to be taught. It's kind of like saying, I know all the things that's right, but no one can teach me. And that's not how it works.
You know, Ches, you might as well just write a book because that was amazing. That was just amazing how you said if you aren't expanding yourself, you're actually not growing. In a nutshell, is how I understood it. It was just beautiful to hear that. Just to close it off, what advice do you have for other travelers who are traveling and pursuing specifically art around the world?
I'd say best advice would be try and travel and try and get out there while you're still able to do it. A lot of us don't have the opportunity of being able to travel. There's financial restraints. There is just not being able to, like not everyone has the capital to travel. Not everyone has freedom to be able to. A lot of people, if it's basically your work that allows you to go if you can. So if you have the opportunity, if you don't have the responsibility, if you don't have the house or the family at home that you need to focus on and give more of your time, get out there, learn more about your craft, or if they're willing to support what you do and what you want to grow, then get out there, get yourself seen, build network, build communication between others and yourself so that you can open more doors and create more opportunities to get over there. Because a lot of people get opportunities to go overseas or they go to an event, but they don't network. They don't get to know the people. They don't exchange the right information, or they don't try and see how their brand can work with the next brand. And I believe that once you find that relationship and you get yourself out there and get yourself seen, it's better and it creates more opportunities. And make sure that you are reliable. People can count on you. Just show up for yourself and show up for others. I know it's not easy. It's easier said than it is done. But I believe that with consistency and keep pushing yourself, that eventually there will be many doors that open. Not just one.
The reliable, oh, my tongue twisted. The reliable word that you said, it really struck a chord in me. Thank you for sharing that. Before we close, I want to hear one French phrase that you learned that you could share with me, please.
Easy one. Okay. So hello, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, or ça va. That's how it goes. Or how is it? Ça va.
Ça va.
So you would say bonjour and then ça va. And you would say ça va bien.
Ça va bien.
And then I would say my name is, then I would say my name. So I would say je m'appelle Cheslyn.
Ooh.
And then you would say je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle Saraya.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Not me getting French lessons from Cheslyn Meyer.
I wish I had more.
Ches, that was perfect. I know French now, and I'll say that forever to everyone I meet. But thank you so much for joining us here in studio. It was lovely getting to know your story. Thank you for sharing your advice and tips with the viewers. Thank you so much, Ches.
Anytime. No stress, right?
And that was it from us, just for now. If you guys are much more interested in hearing more information about the show and following us, you can catch us here on DSTV every Monday at 8:30 p.m. GoTV Channel 25 and OneUp2.com. See you there.